Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Courtney Tracy. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and a doctor of clinical psychology, and this is the Truth Doctor Show. Today I'm breaking down episode 2 of HBO's new series, The Idol. I want to start off by saying thank you to the viewers of episode 1. On this episode, what I'm anticipating is that we're going to be talking about grief disorders, cult leaders, and what happens when grief potentially moves into depression and psychosis. Let's get into it. The following episode contains violence, nudity, and sexual content that may be disturbing to viewers. Viewer discretion remains advised.
You guys are enabling her. There's obviously something a bit off. Not all oars are in the water.
Mother died.
Yeah, exactly.
So my mother's 10. Is your mother alive?
I redid it.
What?
Well, I made it my own a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, Nikki, before you make up your mind, will you just listen to it? I'm really excited to play it for you.
Sure.
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 What an interesting dynamic. She's so excited about it.
I mean, okay, I'll go first. I mean, it's not happening. It's not.
There's a lot of reasons why Nikki would feel this way. I think one thing we need to remember is that Jocelyn's coming off of a year of not releasing any music and having to cancel a tour. None of that actually matters when it comes to how Jocelyn's feeling, but it does matter to Nikki.
That's fine. I'll release it myself.
Remember when your mother got sick? It was Finkelstein and I. We came to you and we said we should cancel that tour, and you said no. And then a week before you're going to play Madison Square Garden, I get a call that you are out of your fucking mind. Back too fucking late. That train has left the station, and whether you like it or not, you are going for that ride. Pure grateful.
Pure grateful.
Put on that face.
We have to talk about how Nikki said be grateful. Why? Because celebrities in the real world are told that they should be grateful for the fame and fortune that they have all the time, regardless of what it is that they're going through. I have worked with professionals in this space along with their family members, and the amount of dehumanization that can actually take place when it comes to celebrities and famous people is wild.
I realized how hard this was going to be without her.
When I lost my mother, I was a wreck for a year. Of course, my mother was nice to me.
Interesting.
You know what I believe in? You.
This is humanized. This is coming up and seeing Jocelyn as Jocelyn and not Jocelyn as the pop star. It was interesting how her manager just mentioned that after the loss of his own mother, he grieved for about a year. Most people think that 12 months of grief should be enough time for you to move on with your life. There's now grief disorders that you can be diagnosed with that emphasize how grief symptoms lasting past a certain period of time can cause you to experience life dysfunction. When Nikki was talking about how Jocelyn was on a rooftop talking to the universe or whatever it is that she said.
On the roof, talking to, things in outer fucking space.
All right.
Grief can go from a normal experience of grief to a complicated experience of grief over to mild, moderate, or severe clinical depression and all the way into psychosis. If we don't treat what it is that's going on for the person mentally, cognitively, emotionally, psychologically through the experience of grief, the brain and body can become continuously dysregulated, and it could lead to making things worse.
You know, there's a powerful voice inside you. I want to reach down and pull it out.
Are you with people?
Nah, it's just me here.
It's so late. I thought you'd be sleeping.
Okay, so he's lying. They are finding their way into building an attachment to gain access. Why else would someone be doing this?
Okay, what about tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I don't think I can tomorrow either, but maybe the day after.
Yeah, I can do the day after.
That was intentional. The way that he just said that he was unavailable and was going to be unavailable for a couple days, you could see in Jocelyn's face just how much that bothered her. She has just experienced the loss of one of the biggest attachment figures in her life, if not the biggest attachment figure in her life. The loss of her mother, likely a momager, which is something that we hear about all the time in the Hollywood industry of parents who take over the responsibility of their child's stardom. She is struggling with the loss of this attachment figure. And so so there's likely this internal anxiety where she wants something that makes her feel the way that she used to feel when her mother was alive, whether that was good or bad. We did hear her manager say,
Of course, my mother was nice to me.
therefore implying that Jocelyn's mother was not nice to her. And that's a whole nother thing that will hopefully unravel by the end of the series. The way that he pulled back and made himself unavailable is likely going to make Jocelyn want to go in closer and attach to him even more. There will be this longing, likely in a similar way that there's a longing for her mother, but she's never going to be able to get her mother again. She will be able to get Tedros. And that could be something that Tedros plans to use to his advantage, where he is calculated in his distance so that she wants him so badly that he has the upper hand, but now she thinks that he's fulfilling her need when in reality she's fulfilling his.
Oh, maybe you need a new team.
Maybe you need a new
You should be surrounded
team.
by people who believe in you.
She's quieted down. She's just going to go through the motions, which is likely something she's really used to doing.
I think you know exactly who you are and where you want to go.
When he says, I think you know exactly who you are and where you want to go, all that's allowing him to do is attach to whatever truth she already has within her. When blanket statements like that are made that actually don't have any substance and force you to pull your own beliefs and perceptions out of your own head and essentially put them in that other person's, it's a false sense of attachment and a false sense of understanding. And he's very skilled at this. She needs someone that understands what's going on within her head and can be someone that's right alongside her. When he says that, without actually saying that he knows where she wants to go and that he knows who she is, he's giving her the perception that he does understand simply because he is reaching down inside of her and having her pull those things up.
Jocelyn was 3.5 hours late. As she was in a makeup trailer, they were having to airbrush cuts on her inner thighs. I can't have another incident like this. I can't afford it.
Okay, we're running way behind on.
We saw that Jocelyn had that sexual moment with that glass of ice. And so was it that she was engaging in self-harm on her inner thighs? It could also have just been that the glass broke or something, or that it caused her to have sort of this freeze burn on the inside of her thighs. We don't quite know. There's also something that's called sex as self-harm. And this is where you can engage in sexual activities of any kind. And if they cause you pain psychologically or physically, that is less important to you or to your brain at the moment in comparison to alleviating the emotional pain that you're experiencing.
I mean, it looks great. No, trust me, it'll be better.
Hold that pose, dancers.
Okay.
Guys, cut it.
I mean, it's
She's getting more and more upset.
No, it's not. I'm gonna keep doing it until it's right.
Jocelyn's context is important here because her mother died of cancer. She had a very public breakdown. She was cheated on by somebody who loved her.
We can start off by talking about how the Vanity Fair writer just literally listed out more things that Jocelyn has been through. She's also in this environment right now where she is under so much pressure. Every single person in that room has eyes on her. She is the priority of everyone, but also potentially the priority of no one unless she does a good job. Losing someone that you love without an ability to do anything about it is a loss of control. Feeling out of control internally, having emotions that you don't know what to do with, and people around you who aren't being fully supportive when it comes to those emotions can also make you feel out of control. All of this is going to increase the cortisol levels in her brain. And when that happens, all the other parts of the brain and body don't work as well either. It's why stress is considered to be something that is so important to manage throughout someone's life. She's moving and repeating herself over and over again with this performance. She is experiencing perfectionism and the desire to control and to redo and to repeat because she doesn't want anything to go wrong, while unfortunately everything around her and within her seems to be going wrong.
Can we just do one more? I really
All right, one more, guys.
Where's Dyanne?
Dyanne.
Why?
She's out dancing everybody. Does she sing?
Nikki, already?
This is gonna be like a fucking disaster, and it's gonna be like really, really humiliating for me.
To them, It's gonna be like, okay, so in 2 weeks, she's gonna like pull out of a 50,000 seat arena and they're gonna pull the plug on the door. I don't wanna freak you out.
We see it from celebrities all the way to social media influencers at this point. The expectation that you will always be on, that you will always make content, that you will always come out with new movies or new music or new scripts, and to feel so connected to so many people that are relying on you when all you want to do is make your own choices can be so incredibly overwhelming, especially when you're not doing well psychologically.
I talked to my guy.
Yeah?
He said that this dude's name is Tedros.
You what?
Okay, his name is Tedros. This guy is so weird. There is something seriously creepy about this guy.
His last place of residency was Hawaii. And then after that, he doesn't seem to exist.
So that take, you can't even use that take at all.
Joss, no, we have to move on.
These cuts on her thighs, and they had to airbrush it and cover them up.
She said the glass broke on her thighs.
The glass broke on her thighs.
I know you guys are tired.
Oh.
Take a minute right now and we'll go again in a second, okay?
Something was said that I think we should talk about, and that is the way that Jocelyn described how the glass broke in between her thighs. A little bit ago, I was referencing the fact that this could be maybe she was actually engaging in self-harm acts. Maybe it was actually the glass that broke. But I want us to also pay attention to the way that Jocelyn allows herself to experience pain, whether that's physical or psychological, and acts as though it is not a big deal. In the first episode, when she looks at the picture that was released of her while she was engaging in that sexual act, she says something like, I feel like it could be worse.
I mean, I feel like it could be a lot worse.
I would be really curious and would love to ask Jocelyn if she believes that she's experiencing something called minimization of how she's a human being that doesn't deserve to suffer. She's not okay. She's not okay. And that's part of what this show, I believe, is trying to emphasize is who's going to give a shit that she's not okay.
But that's why we gotta step in. Her mother's going now.
Yeah.
So now we are new parents.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
I'm probably like more emotional than I would be, so I really hope you take that into consideration when you're writing the article.
I will. Absolutely. You're human.
When I opened up episode 1 of this show, I said, hi, humans. And I actually saw that someone put a comment that said me saying, hi, humans. And then all the animals being like, oh, I guess we can't watch this show or something. The reason why I opened it up and used the word human is because I want each of you to remember and realize that you are a human being with physical, psychological, interpersonal, spiritual needs, that you are a human being before whatever role you play, whatever position you find yourself in, and whatever you may think about yourself about how you're supposed to show up in the world. Okay.
Yeah, Joss.
Oh no.
What the fuck, Harry?
It's a good take, right?
I'm sorry, Joss. It was out of focus. The whole take was out of focus.
Joss, you're gonna have to do it again.
That's a loss too. Oh, I miss my mom.
Come on, everyone to your one.
The reality, to see how much pain she's experiencing from her feet to the inside of her legs in one of the most vulnerable parts of her body, to her feeling around her rib cage from the tightness of the outfit that she's wearing, to the exhaustion on her face. People in this industry see this. They see this. We oftentimes do not see this as observers and viewers of the art and the projects that these people come out with. Part of the conversation that's supposed to come from this show, I'm assuming, is who ends up actually doing something about it? And when does it get to a point where people say enough is enough? When do we get to that point where we see this person as a human being and afford them grace and time to heal without taking away what it is that they may have worked their whole life for?
We're gonna go after this.
She needs a break.
Nikki even says she needs
Want to
a
be a
break.
star, you're gonna have to push through the pain.
Oh, the puppets right there. This guy has some sick obsession with controlling people, being a puppet master.
Lower, Izaak.
Oh.
fucking lower. You're not a human, Izaak. Don't forget.
You're not a human, Izaak.
fucking
You're a
star.
fucking star. This is dangerous. What Tedros is likely having Jocelyn feel internally is that he sees her as a human. He sees her as Jocelyn, and he sees Jocelyn's potential as a star. What we just got exposed to as a viewer that Jocelyn is unaware of at this point is that Tedros enjoys treating people like puppets, and he believes that his ability to control them and even his ability to shock them, pun intended, is what is going to get them to be a star first and foremost. We absolutely have to talk about cult psychology, and we will do so at the end of this episode.
Mom?
What's up, John? What?
Oh.
Mom?
Oh. Mommy. Oh, fuck. I need you.
She's in pain. She's bleeding. Her feet are.
And you do what you need to do. If you want, I would tell all these people to take 10. Of course.
I think it might be time to go home and get some sleep. Nikki, I'm gonna go again right now. I promise. I don't think I need you to go home and get some sleep.
I really, really want to go tomorrow. Okay.
Okay. So give me a call when you get home and she's in bed.
Ugh. When it comes to her calling her mother, she could be experiencing hallucinations. She could be hearing her mother. She could have seen her mother in the distance. She could be experiencing delusions. Maybe she believes that her mother is still there or did for that moment. She could also just be experiencing this psychological desire for her mother to the point where she verbalized that need. We don't quite know exactly what it is that was going on inside the mind of Jocelyn, but we do know that her brain wants her mom. All we know is that she is grieving immensely and isn't okay, and that she is wanting to push forward in this career for some reason, regardless of what it is that she's experiencing.
So, Nikki is scrapping the music video.
Hon, am I gonna lose everything?
Exactly.
I just can't keep covering half the mortgage. I'm really sorry.
No, but you're not listening to me. I want to make music that lasts longer than my life.
I want to make music that lasts longer than my life. In the last reaction of episode 1, I talked about how grief can be a really existential experience where it makes you question your own reality, your own mortality, and how much longer you have to live on the planet. Her mother isn't going to be able to see the longevity of her career if she's able to have a long career. And this could be playing into the fact that she wants to be bigger. She wants to make something that will last longer than her lifetime.
Not focused at all. I mean, you don't like the song. I understand, but you're not giving me any alternatives.
This is the only thing I know how to do. This all I have.
This is her safety. This is her security. This is the life that has been created for her or that she has created. And without it, she doesn't know what's next. And listen, I understand that someone like Jocelyn is in a position of so much privilege for so many reasons. She has money, she's white, she's attractive, she's famous, and she's still a human being whose needs are wrapped up in the way that her life currently functions. And when she says, "This is all I have," that to me is just another portrayal of her grief because she doesn't want to lose another thing. But calling him and he answered.
Hi.
And she's so happy about it.
I don't want to intrude.
Yeah, it's fun.
You sure?
I'll see you soon.
Okay, great.
Guess what? Nikki wants to sign me.
Nikki? Jocelyn's label? Have Nikki call me to negotiate.
Hi.
Hey. Hey. I miss you.
Guess who?
Haha, creepy.
Hi.
Hey, Leia. You ever done cocaine?
Gonna have her do cocaine for the first time.
Really?
Yes.
You can't trust me.
I
I trust? Well, I just met you. But...
Pay attention to the fact that that's not the first time that Tedros has asked someone, do you trust me?
And you trust me?
I just think you're enough of an asshole that you might tell me the truth.
It's very important for him that he finds people who will afford him trust, whether he deserves it or not. So her feeling this euphoric, get it? This euphoric feeling after engaging in cocaine use and alcohol use makes sense. It's gonna provide her chemicals in her brain that make her feel good and happy. It's also gonna provide her the alleviation and numbing of both physical and psychological pain.
How did you meet Tedros?
I used to sing at a church. Tedros was at a service one day.
Really?
He's very godly.
He's very godly.
Yeah, you've been a star your whole fucking life. You're gonna forget how to do that now?
Sort of boosting her up and numbing her down.
He heard me sing, and the next thing I knew, he signed me.
Wait, sorry, he signed to what?
He signed Izaak.
Yeah, his label, his management.
His label changed my
He
life.
transformed me.
He transformed me.
Like how?
Yeah, good question.
Pushing me further than anyone's ever pushed me before.
I want you to get that rope from my closet. Tie it around my face.
Yeah, like, okay.
Imagine my tongue on you.
One eternity later.
I get it. That part of what they want to show is this psychological, hedonistic, sexual, manipulative relationship that he is formulating with Jocelyn. But it's just like, why does it have to be so graphic? And why does it have to last so long? Like, it just feels like this show has so much potential and it just veers in the wrong direction at times. And I'm really doing the best that I can to give them the benefit of the doubt, but sometimes it just goes a little farther than I think it needs to, even to make the point that in society it goes farther than it needs to.
I mean, it'd be easier if I moved in. Yeah. For work purposes.
Please say no.
I'd like that.
Somewhere in the first episode, somebody asks,
Does your mom live here too?
We can think about that in the context of Jocelyn's psychological mindset. If her mother did live in the house, then there is someone missing, a controlling figure missing. And so when she says, I'd like that, her brain instantly feels like she would get more of a sense of safety and stability. And this could be unconscious. It doesn't seem to be something that she's likely aware of. I think another thing that could be going on is that she just had this really fulfilling experience with Tedros, and just simply knowing that he's going to be around more and possibly be able to engage in that behavior with her more is something that excites her too. Love just like my mother's with a price that's not free.
That's my family. We don't like each other very much. Oh, I'm okay.
Ooh, everyone's singing it. And now Jocelyn is too.
We don't like each other very much.
Yeah, this is pretty cultish.
Oh, I'm okay with that.
What was that look at the end? I mean, Tedros. You know, he sounds so not scary when you say his full name. No one actually like joins a cult. They've sort of hinted at this in like the reviews and the actual like just synopsis of the plot of this whole series. Listen, no one really joins a cult. They're recruited by systematic social influence processes. Basically, Tedros has created this environment for Jocelyn that has allowed her to subtly psychologically shift into forming a relationship with him and becoming familiar with his environment from the get-go. When we think about Tedros at the club, when he first initiated a conversation with Jocelyn, where he immediately went into saying, how could someone not fall in love with you, and making her feel so powerful, he likely knew all of the things that she had experienced. And they listed a couple more of those things out in this episode. Not only did she experience the loss of her mother, but also the cancellation of her tour after a breakdown, also her boyfriend cheating on her, also this photo being released, also showing up the way that she was showing up to this club and engaging in really intense substance use. He knew that she was vulnerable. And when individuals are in a vulnerable state, they can be highly influenced. Cult leaders look for people who are dependent and who can be obedient. And if you think about Jocelyn and the way that she's developed over the course of her life, obviously she is someone that can be obedient. Most of the time, cult leaders are malignant narcissists. Okay, what does this mean? The benign narcissist can definitely still want to control the people around them, to be able to control how they feel about themselves, but it's much more about them and how they feel and alleviating any negative experience that they may have internally or externally and interpersonally. Malignant narcissists, it's about the other person and ensuring that you have control over them and their life in a way that benefits you, because you're the most important thing. She's so focused on her career and moving forward, and also focused on fulfilling this hole that she has within her, that she isn't critically thinking about who this person is, why he's coming into her life, and what it is that he may want. And there's many different types of cults. There are religious cults, there are self-help cults, there's commercial cults, and there's cults like labor and sex trafficking. It sounds like Tedros's cult is self-help.
He transformed me.
The thing with cults is they suppress your own ability to make your own choices over time. I'm curious to see if this is where the relationship is going to go, where it starts to take this turn where it's actually influencing Jocelyn in a negative way, but she can't seem to find a way to get herself out of it. I'm nervous, to say the least, about where this show is going to go, but they do have me hooked enough to continue. Please let me know what you think about my reactions in the comments below. Ask any questions that you have. I'm hoping to do a Q&A at the end of this series. I don't know if I'll be able to, but I definitely want to. So we are gathering the questions. And as always, to all the humans watching my channel, I'm so glad that each and every one of you exist.